Welcome to the channel. My name is Crow, and in today's video, we are going to be going over the new Dragon Shackles raid that will be releasing tomorrow. Now, I'm actually going to be referencing this raid from the Blue Protocol Twitter and the Maxroll website. I will leave both links in the description down below. The reason why I am doing this is because I'm probably going to be running in pubs, but also I might run with my guild. With that being the case, I may end up with whales and we might skip mechanics. So I decided I'm actually going to reference Maxroll because they go over every single mechanic just in case I end up skipping in the video I record, and I don't want you guys to miss out on something that does happen. So both links are in the description down below if you guys don't want to hear me talk about it, and you guys can just click off the video right now. But if you want to hear me yap about it, let's talk about it. So first things first, the new Dragon Raid comes out and it is based on the ice element. There also is a code right here as well. You guys can put this in. I have not actually put this in yet, so let's actually see what this gives us. So we guys just go to settings, click down here on the home, redeem code, right? BP SR Dragon 1. Redeem, let's see what we get. So we got 6 revives, we got advanced like books, and then we got the gift of sea breeze. Okay, so nothing really that crazy. Anyways, so let's go over the Dragon Raid guide. So first things first is going to be based on the ice element, and then it's going to have the effect of harsh winter. Basically, this will stack, and then it will cause the touch of frost that will have allies end up getting frozen. So when this does happen, there will be pools of basically fire that you guys can go on to defrost yourselves. You guys can also use the ice resistance to help stop this, but teammates are able to break you out of it as well. Then they also have the extreme cold winter. So during the storm or blizzard, if there's not enough players nearby, player will be frozen for a short time. So basically that happens when you guys do have the stack. And team members should stay grouped together to avoid being frozen in isolation to quickly shatter the ice. So that's what happens when you guys get full stack. Basically going to turn into this ice cube right here, and then they need to destroy it to release you. Then the fire dragon. So there's going to be 2 fire dragons on the sides of the arena, and essentially they're going to be spraying burning zones on the ground. So these burning zones are what you're going to go to then clear your stack count of the frost. And then they have gunpowder buckets, so ignite and explode shortly after being destroyed, dealing damage, which is going to be these buckets that are on the ground right here. And now in the fire dragon is absence. You guys can use this to dispel the touch of frost. So if you guys don't see the fire dragons around and you guys see your frost stack is getting really high, you're able to find these buckets here and then destroy them to dispel your touch of frost. And then the next one we're going to be going over here is the Drake Cannon. So turrets are going to be positioned on both sides. As you guys can see, these are 2 turrets that will be on the arena. You can even see it in the screen right here. And you can interact with them to fire at the dragons, the fire dragons on the side, not the main dragon. And after being hit 3 times, the fire dragons will then be knocked down, and the turrets cannot be used within a burning or frozen state. So assign the team to use the cannon to attack the fire dragon. When a cannon is frozen, shatter the ice to restore it. And when a cannon is set on fire, uses the boss ice-based skills to restore it. So essentially what this means, right, is that it's going to take some coordination. So when a cannon is frozen, we can shatter the ice to restore it. But if it has the fire on it, then you have to sort of drag the boss to get an ice attack to have the turret end up working again. Then we have Frost Smash here, so it'll deal lethal damage in the area. You know, this is like any other boss mechanic, as you guys can see here. We all know this already. And then after that, this is basically all of phase 1. These are the main core things that they're going to be talking about in phase 1, and then we're going to go into phase 2 now, which is going to be Endless Winter. Now, the boss will then have this whole cutscene at 33% health, and it's going to fly to the island, right? It's essentially like the regular dragon story where it ends up flying. So at the end of the bridge, there are 2 frozen spears, and we have to break them simultaneously to destroy the ice wall. So it's sort of like Kanamiya tribe, where they have the swords and we all have to destroy them, at once, simultaneously. So we're going to split into 2 teams, head to the paths of both sides, and simultaneously break the frozen spear, stay close to each other to prevent, freezing, keep the warmth together. And then we have 0 degree snowfield, which is going to be the last thing that they do mention. And essentially just targets a player with sheer damage, and it summons a snowfield here, right? So people will continuously gain frost stacks, and then breaking the link here will deal damage as well. So all players are linked to the snowfield core, so we have to break the link to deal damage. After sharing the damage, as the team quickly leave the 0 degree snowfield during the movement, stay grouped to prevent freezing. So as you guys can see, main mechanics here is really to prevent the freezing from people end up wiping. And you can group here, you can get the alchemy item to prevent frost resistance, to really not have people, basically wipe off of this frost mechanic. Next, we're going to go over Maxroll here, since they do have a more comprehensive guide. I'm talking about it, right? So they have the location here, which is going to be bottom left of the Asteria Plains. I almost said Asterles, Asteria Plains. And it's going to be a normal mode, hard mode, and a nightmare mode. Nightmare mode does come out 2 weeks afterwards, but it does provide 3 different difficulties. Normal mode is going to have total 14 runic alloy shards, 3 thrones, and then the reforged thrones 3 to 4 at level 60. Then they have a hard mode as well. And then they have the gear here, level 60 legendary gear, and then the enhanced modules. So it's going to be a weekly raid, and then you are able to get the rewards only once. Now, it does say, if you do not clear the raid, most rewards go to your reclaim hub, but you can enter the raid more than once, but you cannot gain extra rewards. So, these quests came in Nightmare Mode's log. Yeah, Nightmare Mode does release in 2 weeks afterwards. So, Battle Blessing is also very important. So, a lot of people are wondering how to actually activate this in your guild, because a lot of people ended up seeing this. So when 20 different guild members clear the raid, the Battle Blessing permanently activates for the raid. As long as you are part of the guild, the blessing activates for you automatically. So different difficulties will then, as you guys can see here, that's why it's like normal, hard, nightmare, right? So different difficulties have different Battle Blessings, but the activation effect is the same. And then there's team comps here. So you can enter the raid with only 10 players, maximum of 20. And then the HP actually scales with the number of players, but it's recommended to only attempt a raid with 12 or 20. And then, as you guys can see, the 13th player that does get added ends up inflating the HP. So, you need to have 12 or 20. Don't try to have like 15 players, 16 players, because then you're inflating the HP. And then you're going to be basically doing a 20-man raid with 14 players or even 13 players. So it's either 12 or 20 that you're going to want. And then there's going to be a whole raid hub here. And then you can choose which that you actually want to challenge. And now they actually talk about the mechanics. So mechanics here are basically things that we mentioned was the frost touch, essentially, not freezing and whatnot. But they do have some other mechanics here. So hyper beam. So basically, Hyper Beam is going to be like any other mechanic, and this that has, well, it's any other beam mechanic where the tank is actually going to get aggroed, and then you have to, move it from everyone. Luckily enough, Blue Protocol, like a lot of these mechanics here in this raid, you're going to realize how to do pretty quickly because all the other dungeons have, mechanics. Like, let's be honest here. And then we have the Frost Smash mechanic. So again, this is the same one that they mentioned here, the Frost Smash, where it's just going to target the tank as usual, like any other AoE attack. And then we have the Fire Puddles here, as usual. Then the Freeze Cannon Explosion. So designates one of the turrets to be frozen, big circle around. So same thing, shout out to Chi for uploading the clips here, but you're basically just moving out the red area. That's sort of why, like everything on Twitter here is like main mechanics, but there are slight mechanics here that you will probably have to pay attention to. So that's why like everything here is really important, which is really it's only maintaining the frost. Like, let's just be honest here. But there are some white mechanics here, and I'll probably just talk about that in phase 2. But here are the cannons. This is how it looks like. This is how the fire dragon looks on the side of the map as well. So again, if they are overheated state, use ice mark or direct the boss to attack them to cool it down. If they're frozen, just break the ice to make them operational again. And then this is basically going over the 2 fire dragons that are on the side. So same as what we already, read on. So again, 33% health. We'll have the whole cutscene and everything. And then it creates a path within the 2 by an ice wall. Water turns into blizzard condition. So as you guys can see, there is snow or blizzard weather. So there's 2 different types of weather, mainly for the most part. So just going over gunpowder buckets, strong winds, advance you from pushing up, and then breaking both ice spears drops ice wall, letting you advance to the second phase. So stay close together to prevent freezing. We already talked about that as well. And then avoid ice tornadoes, ice explosion to add touch of frost, and then you can use the gunpowder buckets as usual. So right, phase 2 goes into the transition. Moving along here, it's the same way like, when we're in Goblin and we have like the tornadoes and you pretty much just want to dodge the tornadoes. You hit the buckets here to delay the frost mechanic. If you guys can see this tiny bar here, that's basically going to be the frost mechanic as well. So you're just going to be running through this entire raid. Shout out to Chi as usual. You guys can break the buckets here, right, to then stop the frost mechanic from scaling up. And then you just want to destroy these right here as you guys are going along. But you have to do this part, and it's basically split. The ice wall is split, and you want to break both ice walls to get to the next part. So phase 4, not phase 4, my bad. Phase 2 has 4 different mechanics. So I'm surprised that they actually did not talk about this because it ends up in a wipe if it doesn't go down. But they only talk about the Endless Winter. But basically, after Endless Winter, right, it's gonna the boss is gonna be in the middle of the arena, and then there's gonna be a shield, but it's gonna deal some ice explosions as usual. You just dodge the telegraph attacks, nothing too hard, right? So you just want to break the shield here. If the shield actually does stay on. But it's 150 seconds, right? Like, come on now, we're gonna break the shield, but it does prevent in a raid wipe. And then, as usual, there's markings, same way as, let's see, that Towering Ruin boss. When we have the markings, you just want to make sure that you are standing away, but it does leave a AOE on the ground, so you want to take it away from everyone essentially. And then. Let's see. This is the 0 degree snowfield. So this is where it will actually target the 2 players, and then it will have the large AoE here. So 1 targeted player in nightmare, and then 2 will be targeted in normal and hard. So it's to be a team stack mechanic, shares damage to other players standing in the circle. So running out the field breaks the link and then does damage to you. So they have method number 1 here. Targeted player dashes away from the raid to avoid hitting other players. Use iframe mitigation skills to avoid dying from the initial impact. But as you guys can see, right here, this entire whole AoE, you just want to leave it away from everyone, right? And then method 2, all players like supports gather the targeted players to share the damage from the ice pillar. So that is another way that you guys can mitigate it. Same way as like any other, tank buster attack as usual. And then you guys can use Phantom Dash or supports to just heal, and then you guys can just overtank it pretty much. And then last one here is going to be a clone. So it's going to summon a clone here to target a telegraphed area pretty much. So you're just going to see the red line. Just avoid standing on the line as usual. Just like, any other boss. So it really shouldn't be that hard in pubs, but the main thing is going to be the frost mechanic. That's just kind of what I was trying to get at here. So that's going to be it. Going over the Dragon Raid, just what they provided us from Blue Protocol themselves, and then Maxroll as well. Like I said, I'll leave both links in the description down below so you guys can take a look for yourself. and get you guys updated on the dragon raid. But that's pretty much going to be it. I'll still do a video version, like a video clear of it, and then I'll just, probably talk over it and just give my insight on what's happening and whatnot, and what to do, what not to do. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Leave a like and subscribe if you guys haven't yet already. We are almost there, guys. We have, what's this, 14 hours left, so just make sure you're prepared, you're ready for this raid, and let's get our one-time weekly reward. But I will see you guys in the next one. Leave a like, subscribe. It does help out the channel. I do appreciate it. Peace.